Hi there, it's Mr. Clark. Welcome to lesson MED.3.3 on polyphonic chant. So in the past two lessons, we've been looking at monophonic chant, monophonic meaning one sound, meaning there's one note happening at a time. So now we're going to look at polyphonic chant, poly meaning many, so many things happening at the same time. Polyphonic music has always existed, just with a lot of early notation, we don't have evidence of what it sounded like. So people probably improvised polyphony in various ways, but some of the first notated polyphony that we have from anywhere, not just from Europe, is from the mid-800s in these two manuscripts, the Musica Incuriatus and the Scholica Incuriatus, which we saw previously because of the Dacian notation that they contain. So the two-voice writing that's demonstrated here displays both parallel and oblique motion, oblique being when one voice stays the same, and then parallel being when they move same direction, same time. So here it's going to sound like this. So starting with oblique, then going to parallel. And it's the same thing over here. Starting with oblique, moving to parallel. So to look at how polyphony develops past this simple sort of thing, we're going to look at how this monophonic chant turns into polyphony. So it began as a monophonic chant. You can see it here. Starts viderunt omnes, and it keeps going. So there's a two-voice setting that's attributed to the composer Leonin at the Cathedral of Notre Dame around 1170 or so. And it's instructive in different types of polyphony that were common at this time. So in terms of form of the chant, you have a soloist for this first section, and then it goes to the choir at the asterisk, then it returns to solo, and then it goes to choir again. So more solo here in the second half. So we see that the word viderunt, has four notes. And what he has done is he's put them in the tenor voice, tenor for held, and he's held each of those four notes out, out for a very long time, and then there are lots of other notes on top. Rhythmically, we're not transcribing here, not super clear rhythmic notation at the time, so everything's just open note heads. But and it keeps on going, so lots of notes going on at once up on the top, and then very long notes on the bottom. So this style is known as florid organum, where the tenor holds really long notes, and the duplum, or second part, has faster notes on top. We'll be using modern transcriptions in this section in order to see how the parts line up. Usually when they were in their original manuscripts, the parts are separate, so it's not easy to talk about form and see how things line up. So when you have a chant that's placed in the tenor voice like it is here, we call it a cantus firmus. But in our original chant, four notes take up, 45 seconds or a minute. So if we kept on going like that, it would be a very long piece. So we come up on this melisma in omnes. And, well, we can't hold all of those notes out for as long as we did in this first section. So we move to something called discant style, where the tenor notes go by more quickly, and then the upper voice is in some sort of modal rhythm, which we'll take a look at in the next section on rhythm. But usually like two or three notes to one in the tenor. So here we have our section of discant. Not the best rendition, apologies for that, but it gives you an idea of kind of the different pace that's going on. So then there are two notes left of omnes that he sets in a florid style, and then the choir comes in the original chant, and the choir also comes in Leonin's version, and they sing just the original monophonic chant. When it goes back to the soloist, it keeps flipping back and forth between florid organum and discant, and then when the choir comes in at the end, it is again choir in Leonin's version. So each of these sections of either florid or discant is known as a clausula, plural clausulae, which is just a self-contained section of chant, and composers would often create substitute clausulae as well and include them in the same manuscript. So it's like, you don't like this section? Well, here are some other options, and you can kind of just mix and match, do what you want there. In terms of moving forward with other forms of music, at other forms of polyphony at this time, sometimes people would add words to upper parts of these clausulae, a section of discant or a section of florid organum, starting around the year 1200. More often, sections of discant. And adding words to a clausula resulted in a genre known as the motet. Mot is the French word for word, so they're adding words to the upper part, so they just called it a motet. Exciting, thrilling. Early motets tended to be in Latin, have Latin text, and be on religious subjects. Later motets tended to be in the vernacular, or local spoken language, and be about secular topics like love songs, that sort of thing. So, take a look at some early polyphony, and I will see you next time.